Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ben Rice Podcast. As always, I'm John, and with me is my buddy Marky. Marky, how you doing, buddy?
You confused the heck out of me. This is the Big Knick Energy Podcast, not the Ben Rice Podcast. Would he be sticky rice, brown rice, jasmine rice, saffron rice? Like, what kind of rice do you think he likes the most?
I was thinking it's like a mango dessert rice kind of situation.
Ooh,
I don't know if
okay.
you've ever had anything along those lines. But
I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah,
That's a big Asian dish for dessert, right?
Yes,
like
and,
Vietnamese, I think.
Yes, and shout out to former Top Chef contestant Gregory Gordeau, who makes an incredible version that I once shot at his former restaurant departure in Portland.
We love mangoes here.
Love me some mangoes. Love me some Mango Cart beer by Golden Road. If they're not a sponsor, I don't know why I'm saying that.
Shout it out to not them then. All right.
Yeah, all right. Give us some money and then we'll shout you out.
So here we are.
Here we are. It has been 2 weeks since we've last spoke, so we will get into the topic of discussion, which is our New York Knickerbockers and not Ben Rice. Since we last spoke, and as I just said, it's been 2 weeks, so bear with me on this one. The Knicks have lost to the Mavericks, lost to the Clippers, beat the Bucks, beat the Blazers, beat the 76ers, lost to the Cavs, beat the Hawks, beat the Suns, and then last night they lost to the Celtics of Boston. Been quite an up and down couple of weeks. Most importantly, though, our guy, our Lord and Savior, Jalen Brunson, has returned to the hardwood. Marky, how you feeling about things?
Brunson looked good last night. The Suns, he was a little rusty, you could tell, but it looked like he was well prepared for. I mean, everybody was a little sloppy yesterday in the Celtics game, but yeah, this wasn't ideal. Obviously, we were just trying to weather the storm without Brunson, and we're finally fully healthy and back together. I don't really want to. I honestly could just talk about the Celtics game.
Let's do it.
Ad nauseum right now. It seemed like the stars were aligning that we were finally fully healthy for the Celtics game yesterday, and you can tell this team wanted to win it so bad.
Yeah.
They wanted to get the monkey off their back. They wanted people to stop saying they can't beat one of the top 3 teams in the league. They still can't. Even though I will say this before I'm not going to trash on the Knicks, but I am going to say if there was an ideal way for this outcome to be a loss, I think it was the way they lost, where they got it in their heads that they know they can compete with the Celtics. They can beat the Celtics. They just didn't win the game. I think it gives them confidence going into the postseason. Again, it seemed like during the broadcast last night, and even me, and I'm sure as you as fans, we are already assuming that it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to run into the Celtics in the second round. That
Sure.
No matter what, we're not losing in the first, and neither are they. So yeah, what a brutal loss, man. Jason Tatum's good at basketball, man. That's
I think the most painful part of that matchup, as has been the case with a number of Boston matchups both this year and last year, is seeing Porzingis go off in the Garden. I don't want to see him succeed at anything in life, and I have no problem saying that out loud.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, when that ball rolled over to him on the logo, and I was like, he's going to pop this, and it's going to go. You just knew it. I was like, as soon as he picked it up, I'm like, this is going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
I don't know. I thought they had it in the bag. I actually am going to disagree with you. Maybe the whole of the game and playing with the Celtics up to that level was good, but I mean, they just didn't execute down the stretch. Brunson threw that one behind the back pass that he tried to go to Hart that seemed kind of unnecessary, ended in a turnover. Just kind of seemed like they fell apart down the stretch, and that's the time of the game where a number 3 team in the East, 3 games away from the NBA playoffs, should not be playing so carelessly and sloppily in the final minutes of a game against such an important rival as the Celtics.
I agree. It was crunch time, and they didn't crunch. That's
no crunching necessary.
Crunching.
It was necessary. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, and it's too late in the season for them for mistakes like that to be happening. There were a lot of encouraging takeaways from this game. I still, at times, it seemed like there was more of a concerted effort with getting OG involved in the game with Brunson.
Yes.
And Mikhail too. Like, but again, their points, and again, this is going to happen. Their points shrank. You know, there's now a guy that's going to eat up 20 to 30 points a game, and those points are no longer going to OG and Mikhail. So, you know, and plus the bench production is still not good. You know what I mean? It's really not. There's so many holes, and it's like, man, I wish we were at a different spot right now with 3 games left going into the postseason.
3 games left.
Here we are, though. So,
I mean it is going to be an interesting rotation. I mean, it's funny. You say you don't love the bench. At the same time, like in the playoffs, you shrink down to an 8 to 9 man rotation.
This is true.
The problem is that you're usually doing that from a 10, 11 man rotation in regular season, where the 8 or 9 men aren't already burnt out now that the playoffs are here. Whereas the Knicks have been playing with a 9 man rotation all year, and now they're probably going to go down to 7, and we'll see. I do love that 7 man rotation. I mean, obviously you got Brunson, Hart, OG, Mikhail, Cat. And then you got Mitch and Deuce as kind of the top 2 off the bench. You can mix and match a bunch of different lineups out of that 7. Mm-hmm. You could play with a bunch of different kinds of teams and in a bunch of different styles of play. So I do think they're kind of an interesting Swiss Army knife team heading into the playoffs. That is, if you know all the pieces of that Swiss Army knife don't fall off as we put it into use,
like it did last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I was just going to point out with McBride and Robinson coming off the bench, we did get to see a good chunk of minutes where Karl Anthony Towns was on the floor with Mitchell Robinson, and it did seem to work nicely at times. I think it really helped, especially in the first half. Like Karl Anthony Towns was, and he disappeared in the second half, and I'm not necessarily blaming him for it.
It feels like they made some adjustments, the Celtics coming out of halftime to slow him down. And instead of fighting back and find ways to adjust to their adjustments, he just decided to let himself get buried. It's going to be a very interesting playoffs from Cat. I think he's going to be under a massive microscope. He's been properly celebrated this year. He'll probably be 2nd team All-NBA, maybe 3rd team at worst, for having what is easily been the best year of his career. Definitely the best year in a few years from him. Obviously, you've said it. Many people have said it. The defense still isn't really there. We'll see if Mitch can help fill that. But, you know, I think whatever Karl Anthony Towns does in this postseason is going to really determine how far the Knicks can go. And I hope he lives up to this kind of new hype, new level we've seen and doesn't kind of fade from the spotlight as he has in the past in Minnesota. Mm.
Well, I mean, Minnesota went to the finals last year, right?
Sure, but it wasn't. I think that was more because of Ant-Man and Gobert and kind of the team, you know. Cat has always kind of been here and there and wishy-washy in Minnesota. Obviously, those teams before last year never really went very far. So, yeah.
Well, let's see. It's him and Brunson are the face of the team, so...
Him and Brunson are the face of the team. We mentioned Jalen Brunson is back, and including last night's game against the Celtics, now has 63 games played, which means with 3 games to play, he's only 2 away from qualifying for postseason awards. What do you think? What kind of hardware do you think Jalen Brunson's bringing home this year?
What's the new award? Most clutch player?
Clutch player award?
Yeah, I think he wins that.
Think he wins that? All right.
I haven't really looked at the East and like who's. I think he makes an All NBA team. I don't know which he does though. Do you have thoughts on that?
I think he's going to be 3rd team All NBA. I think the missed time kind of is going to, whether or not it's deserved or whatever. I think people are going to use that as a reason to knock him down to 3rd team. He'll still get that spot. I think everybody knows he deserves it. But, you know, Steph Curry's been insane the last month of the season. He might have pushed his way all the way up to 1st team All-NBA. You know, he's firmly on 2nd team. I think there's a number of guys. I hate to admit it because I think Brunson's the better player, but Donovan Mitchell probably finds his way onto 1st team All-NBA now, possibly, or 2nd team. There's a lot of guys who I think the games played thing is gonna notch them just slightly above Jalen Brunson on the All-NBA hierarchy.
Yeah, I would even say if this injury happened earlier in the year, it would be less fresh on people's minds. But
Agreed. If he'd been playing,
now.
agreed. If he'd missed January but had been playing the last month of the season, I think it's a different impression he's leaving on people.
Yeah, the optics are different. So
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
100%. Other non-Knicks NBA news that I want to touch on, and is not on our outline, so I'm kind of surprising you with this. Obviously, waves have been shaken. Waves have been made in the NBA this week by the Nuggets of Denver firing both coach and GM and Mike Malone.
Dude,
and
wild.
We've dipped our toes into the will Thibs get fired this summer waters. We haven't really fully cannonballed in. But I think it's worth saying that if Thibs does get fired this summer, if the Knicks make a quick exit in the playoffs, people aren't happy. Watch out for Mike Malone coming to New York.
He's a New York guy.
I've seen some people tap him to replace Pop in San Antonio, and that's certainly possible. But like you just said, he's a New York guy. His dad was on the coaching staff in the 90s. He grew up here. Every time the Nuggets play in the Garden, there's at least one ENG video package talking about Mike Malone and how much New York means to him. He's got the connections. He's won a championship, which the Knicks don't have and would love. He's an offensive-minded coach, and this roster is now an offensive-minded roster. And not to mention, as has been discussed here and elsewhere, the Knicks have really started to tap into Cat's passing, which Minnesota never really did. And, what better way to expand on Cat's passing even further than to bring in the guy who's coached Nikola Jokic the last few years?
He knows how to get the best out of a talented big man. So.
Where we've seen Thibs falter with this offense, Mike Malone could be the guy to come in and kind of make it a lot less reliant on Jalen Brunson and make it so that more pieces could come in and out and go deeper into the rotation.
Yeah, I briefly thought about it when I heard of the firing, and I was like, maybe the Knicks make a run at him. And you now just laying that all out, that sounds... It sounds very good to me.
Conspiracy theory Johnny going full tilt.
And I love... Because when you hear him talk, you're like, oh, you are from New York, man.
Oh, yeah.
And, dude, if he got fired because of a bunch of soft players for him calling them out... Did you hear the sound clip from a couple weeks ago about guys not watching tape?
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to make them watch tape, but they're not going to watch tape on their own. I'm like, oh, boy.
I mean, let's be honest. Do we think Jokic has ever watched tape in his life of anything other than horses? He's watching tape of the horses, not of the NBA.
He's on OTB.
Yeah. If you want Jokic to watch game film, put it in between two horse races at OTB. Give me the Aqueduct, last night's Celtics Pistons game, and the Preakness right there. There you go.
There you go.
Are those even? Is the Aqueduct even a horse race? I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like it is. Maybe.
Yeah, why not?
We'll go with it.
Get Frances on the phone. He'll know.
Oh, it's the best horse I've ever seen.
Frances reading the horses. I never understood that when I was a kid.
I own the greatest horse. I don't get it either.
All right. Well, you would think if after 2 weeks we'd be wanting to talk a lot more and longer, but we seem to be flying through things this week. Maybe we're out of practice at expanding upon points.
I mean, I think, we're I like to call us a bite-sized podcast.
Sure.
We still have easily consumable.
We still have more to talk about, and we'll get to it.
It's quality, not quantity.
We're just more quickly than normal at our favorite segment of the week. And that is the Josh Hart triple-double watch.
Can I tell you something? A secret?
Yes, please.
You say it's our favorite segment of the week.
It's not.
I've never actually said that, and I hate that you speak for me and assumed. It quite frankly, it isn't my favorite segment.
Okay.
It maybe
go
it's
fuck
yours.
Yourself, San Diego.
And this fool can't even get out of 9. Come on.
That's fair. Josh Hart is at 9 triple doubles. The Knicks have 3 games to go. I was going to touch on this when we get into the look ahead to the final 3 games of the regular season. But Josh Hart is one of 3 Knicks sitting out tomorrow night against the Pistons of Detroit. Tonight, if you're listening to this podcast, because we're not putting it out until Thursday. But Josh Hart is sitting, so assuming he plays the final 2 games of the season, he only has 2 games to go to get to our very arbitrary goal of 10 triple doubles this season. We
really should have put it at 9 if we were thinking about it, just to beat Clyde's record. but 10 sounded like a nice whole number at the time.
10 sounded like a nice number based on where we were in the season, how it was going. 10 sounded fun, double-digit triple-doubles. I'll be completely honest, I had no idea what the Knicks record for triple-doubles was or who held it when we first started doing this. So, that was a nice, fun thing to learn as the season went on.
One of the games he was, I think, a rebound or an assist.
He's been close a couple times. He's had double-doubles and almost triple-doubles. Look, I mean, it means nothing. It's arbitrary. It's just something fun to keep an eye on. Obviously, Josh Hart fills the stat sheet everywhere, and we love him for it. But, that does kind of transition nicely into, as I was just mentioning, the Knicks finished the last 3 games of the season starting tonight against the Pistons of Detroit. They are sitting Josh Hart, they are sitting OG Anunoby, and they are sitting Mitchell Robinson. Some might say they don't want the Pistons to see their full lineup a couple days before they play them in the postseason. What say you about that, Marky?
I didn't. So you were the first person to tell me that they were sitting them tonight. Did the Knicks offer any reason, just resting the guys?
They all have, whatever injuries.
Lingering.
There's a reason for all of them, but I think we all know that it's we're playing you guys in the first round of the playoffs in a week, and we're not gonna.
Yeah, there's probably gamesmanship there.
Yeah,
definitely gamesmanship. Mitch, I think they might do that anyway. I think he kind of took a awkward little spill in last night's game or 2 nights ago.
Yeah, he looked a little shaken up in the Celtics game there for a minute.
So, maybe there's actual reasoning for that. OG's injury prone, and Hart, you've literally have... Actually, no, I think Mikal Bridges leads the league in minutes, so maybe he should have got the rest. But
I mean, hey, there's 2 games after that. Maybe he still will.
Yeah, they're just rotating. The only person that's for sure playing is Jalen Brunson, 2 out of the 3.
Exactly.
For at least 15 minutes.
It's tonight versus the Pistons. Tomorrow night, Friday, versus the Cavs. We'll see if we win one game against the NBA's best team before the season ends. Only got one shot, one opportunity to capture it or let it slip, And then the Knicks end the season Sunday against the Brooklyn Nets. And that's your regular season for this year, folks.
So I'm curious. I think the Nets, this is kind of like their championship.
Sure.
And they're not like, by all means, and you know what? I do respect it that they're not tanking, like in the traditional sense. Like they're trying to win games.
Nah, they should have gone after Cooper Flag.
I know. I mean, I hate that part of sports. I do it as a fan. I root for my team to lose when I know there's no hope, but it's so goes against the whole reason we play sports and love sports. You want to see competition, but what are you going to do? Anyway, I think the Nets maybe beat us. Who knows? Do you know why did the Celtics... I mean, was there an unspoken thing between... The Celtics aren't playing for anything. They're locked into number 2. Other than them tying the record for most road wins, why start everybody?
My guess is it's twofold. They don't want to do... I mean, first of all, they still have a couple games left that they could sit people.
Sure.
I think Jalen Brown's been hurt. He didn't really play a lot last night. So
but to even play him, he was visibly
Yeah, but don't forget first of all the top 6 teams in both conferences are about to have a bit of a break while the play-ins happen. So there's going to be some rest in there. They also might not want to do the thing where you get, the Celtics got a lot of criticism for kind of taking a large portion of this regular season off as it is already. They were kind of coasting through February, March, and into April, and really only started playing intensely a couple weeks ago. So it might be more of we're not trying to take our foot off the gas and we just started putting it back on.
Keep ramping up. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not watching the town with Joe Mazzulla going over strategy, so I don't know what he's really thinking, nor does anybody, including himself, I think.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
He's a wild guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be my assumption, and probably want to remind the Knicks. They probably also just didn't want to let the Knicks beat them this season with the way things have been going.
I know. I think that played into it. Cavs, do we think they're sitting guys on Friday?
Maybe. Why not? They locked up first place. Who knows? Why not?
Yeah.
Is that one? Hold on. Let's see where that one is. Because where that game is, will also affect my answer. That game is in the Garden, so I have a feeling Donovan Mitchell is definitely going to play.
He's like, this is what you guys missed out on. It's like, no, we tried, but Danny Ainge was like, nah, bitch. Knicks no for you, bro. Get out of here. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm curious. It will be funny if the only game we win against the top 3 team this year is against the Cavs when they're resting anybody.
That would be funny. It'll be nice to get one, though. I mean, even if it doesn't really mean anything at the end, it would be nice to finally get one of them.
Jared Allen played 8 minutes this game.
It's kind of crazy that the regular season's over already. It feels like just yesterday you and I were jumping on here early to talk about the cat trade a week or two before we intended to get this podcast started.
Yeah, dude, the time really does fly when you're having fun.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I think we can, keep this one short this week. It's the regular season wrapping up. It's been an interesting ride. A season of actual expectations. Maybe the 3 seed and not quite the strongest of confidence going into the NBA playoffs is what we were expecting this time of year. Considering we were saying NBA Finals or Eastern Conference Finals or bust. But here we are. I still have faith, and I think it's going to be a fun few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's again, we might not have our I shouldn't say hopes, but our expectations as to where we thought the team would be at the beginning of the season. But it's the playoffs, man. Like strangers, anything can happen. You know what I mean? And our team, I mean, we're almost talking like our team is a bunch of guys off the street that are just picking up together yesterday. Like, nah, man, we got a great squad.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Let's see.
And Brunson is back, and we're gonna make some noise in these NBA playoffs. We'll do a full on. I know we touched on kind of playoff matchups when we were on last 2 weeks ago. Next week we'll probably come back and do a real full deep dive into the Pistons matchup and what we're looking for and what fun we're gonna have as we watch.
Woo! I can't wait.
All right. Well, don't forget to follow Big Knick Energy across socials, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, you name it. I'm John Kalnoski. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Threads. I'm on other things I'm not thinking of right now. Marky, you're not on those things right now because you're smarter than all of us. But yeah, what do you want to sign off? What do you want to do? What do you want to tell the people to sign off with? That's the one.
Go Knicks.
Go Knicks, baby.
Go Knicks.
Go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week when we get ready to get into these NBA playoffs. Let's go.
Let's go.
Peace.